Greetings friends and welcome to the slide ability guide. So first things first, we're just going to make the default block that we've got over here a bit bigger so that we can slide around and not worry about falling off. Then we're going to throw down, we're going to go into gadgets, gameplay gear, and we're going to select our basic puppet. You can also do this with the that small chubby platforming puppet. That one, the slide works really well for that dude as well. So first thing we're going to do is then go into our puppet, see that everything is cool here, or just familiarize ourselves with what's going on. Then we're going to get into this whole puppet, slap down a microchip, and we can call this slide. Slide. Alrighty. In our slide, we're going to stamp down a little timeline. You can also, first let's do this actually with just a keyframe. So if we're doing just a keyframe, we're going to then position our slider in a slidey position. Throw a foot out, you know how it is. Maybe throw an arm up. Having a lot of fun. Have some fun with this, you know, you can really do any old thing. Any old thing. Woo. Maybe tilt their back a little bit. You know, whatever works. It's just important to make sure that their butt and feet are touching this blue circle because that represents the floor. So you don't want them sort of floating in the air. So that's just something to realize. Then you're going to press L1 and circle to scope out of the puppet, but we're still recording. Then you go L1 and square on the puppet themselves. You're going to increase the speed a little bit, so when they do the slide, they're actually going to move a bit faster. And for the turn speed, you're going to reduce that to something like 45 or something along those lines. What this does is it makes them move a bit faster and it makes it harder to turn. So you'll kind of only really be moving in the direction that you're going when you press the slide button. So you don't do like a 360, you know. It's sort of like simulating the increased friction. Alrighty, then one other thing we're going to do is go to behavior, and then by procedural animation you're going to turn off procedural walk. Why are we doing this? So that when you press your slide button, your puppet is not going to keep their usual walk, not walking at the same time. Then you can go stop recording. Next thing we're going to go to our keyframe, whoops, not into the recording but actually into its tweak menu, so L1 and square. Then we're going to give it a slow power up, make it 0.3 seconds, and a slow power down, 0.3 seconds. What this does is, let's have a look. What that power up and power down does just makes it a little bit of movement first between the keyframe and it not actually happening. So now what we're going to do is, actually attach a key to activate this slide. I'm gonna delete the, normally circle depossesses the puppet, but I'm gonna delete that Y here because I feel like circle is a real slidey button. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go there into this, into our microchip and then power this keyframe. Let's see how we're looking. Yoo-hoo! So we've got a nice little slide. As you can see, they kind of turn a bit more slowly. Whoa! And off the edge we go. Friends, if that's all you need, then that's good for me, but I am going to add a few bells and whistles. Namely, I'm going to add let's go into cameras and lighting and fog. This will make like a nice little dust cloud. So we're going to make a little dust cloud where you do your slide. I think we'll make it like browny, grayish brown, you know what I mean? Increase the glow. I find that increasing the glow and maybe the noise strength, maybe the noise scale as well. I find that increasing the glow really adds really increases the color of the fog, because normally the fog's color is quite pale and hard to detect. But if you make it something gray and light brownish, that'll be a good sort of dust cloud kind of a look. And this will also be triggered by the pressing of circle. And then the last thing I'll add is a sound effect. So I don't normally do these, but I thought why not? So we'll go into modes, then we'll go into sound mode. Then we'll go for tools. Oh, sorry, no. We'll go for search, and in search we'll go search sound effects. Now a really good one, I spent some time looking through, and a really good one that Media Molecule put on is called immolation. This is the one. This is a pretty good, it's a pretty good, like sliding on ground sort of sound. I mean, immolation is like when something burns up in fire, but really, whatever the original sound of something was, this is also just a sound tip. If you change the pitch of it, you can really change sounds. You can make water sound like fire, you can make fire sound like ice, you know. It really depends, really, your imagination, you can really go wild in dreams. That's why it's so great. I'm just going to double check that I actually connected that chap. Alrighty. So let's see what's up. There we go. If you want it so that this slide, because at the moment the slide will last forever and the sound will also stop, but I'll keep going. If you want it so that the slide only lasts a certain amount of time, that's perfectly alright. All you have to do is to put all of these lovely things in a timeline. So we're going to go animate, timeline. You can just bring them in. Let's say 2 seconds. Whoops. Reduce the size of this timeline. Make it so that this is kind of a big one. This is a big juicy boy, because this is like the slide. Then you can go animation, and then keyframe. Keyframe is just the default position that your puppet's in. You press L1 and X to create a blend between them. You copy this one, put it here, L1 and X again to create a blend. So this is the default position, sliding position, default position. So that means they'll go from their normal position, go into a slide, and then go back to their normal position, all in the space of 2 seconds. So that's quite a short slide. You can make it longer and shorter as works for you. Then you're going to go also, let's see, playback mode once. So once you press it, it'll just happen. You don't have to sort of keep pressing it. But you can mess around with that as you see fit. For fog, you can attach it here and make it last as long as you are in sliding. You can make it longer, fiddle with that as you see fit also. And for this, we can also make it immolation. You can fiddle with that. See what works for you. So let's see what's up. I'm pressing circle just once, and nothing's happening. I think the problem is I didn't actually make circle activate the timeline itself, which is a little bit silly. So we can actually delete all these connections to the original chaps, and make it just so that the whole timeline is activated when we press circle. That makes a bit more sense. Alrighty, let's go for it. Woohoo! So that's me just tapping circle. Woohoo! Seems like I should add a woohoo sound effect actually. Record myself saying it. Anyway, friends, here you are. This is the old sliding, the sliding ability guide. As you can see, it works pretty nicely. You can fiddle around with things like turn speed. So that's what we've got at the moment. Turn speed and increasing the speed, or if you want to be like Borderlands 3, you don't actually increase speed when you slide, which is just terrible. But here, you can do whatever you want. Alrighty, friends. Thanks for sticking around. Leave those likes, comments, and subscribes. They really do help. And I'll catch you on the flip-flop. Peace out!